Putin unveils Russia's invincible duo, real power or psychological deterrence. On October 29, 2025, President Vladimir Putin announced that Russia had successfully tested its nuclear-powered underwater drone system, Poseidon, claiming it was impossible to intercept and has no equivalent in the world. He stated that the test, conducted a day earlier, involved launching the drone from a submarine and activating its onboard nuclear power unit. It was one of the rare occasions Moscow shared details about a program first introduced in 2018. Major international outlets such as Reuters and the Associated Press reported the announcement. The declaration about Poseidon came just days after Russia said it had tested another system, the nuclear-powered cruise missile Burevestnik, which, according to Chief of the General Staff Valery Gerasimov, flew roughly 14,000 kilometers over 15 hours. Western media have long dubbed the weapon the Flying Chernobyl, reflecting both radiation concerns and its troubled testing history. Taken together, the two announcements send a clear signal. Russia is not merely showcasing technology, it is asserting status and power. According to the Kremlin, Poseidon is an unmanned underwater vehicle powered by a miniature nuclear reactor, capable of deep-sea operations, high speeds, and carrying either nuclear or conventional warheads to strike coastal targets or naval bases. The highlight this time, Putin said, was the successful activation of its nuclear propulsion unit, a feat described by Russian media as a technological breakthrough. Yet all performance figures, range, speed, and payload come solely from Russian sources and have not been independently verified. Burevestnik, on the other hand, is described as a nuclear-powered cruise missile with virtually unlimited range, flying low and unpredictable routes to bypass existing missile defense systems. The claim that it flew 14,000 kilometers over 15 hours remains unconfirmed by any external observers. Even so, the pair are presented as proof that Russia is redefining the concept of strategic deterrence for the 21st century, and that is precisely what makes the world's reaction so revealing. Almost immediately, international media highlighted the political message behind Russia's announcement rather than its technical achievements. Analysts revisited the troubled history of nuclear-powered missile programs and warned about the environmental dangers of such systems. Politically, U.S. President Donald Trump publicly criticized Russia's missile test as inappropriate, urging Moscow to focus on ending the war in Ukraine. His response underscored Washington's concern that Russia's move represented escalation rather than restraint. But those were surface-level reactions. The deeper implications lie in how these tests could reshape the global balance of military deterrence. If Russia's claims are accurate, Poseidon blurs the line between a high-speed torpedo and a long-endurance strategic weapon. Operating in the ocean's depths, it would force potential adversaries to expand costly undersea surveillance networks, invest in long-range anti-submarine defenses, and reconsider the safety of coastal urban centers and naval hubs. Meanwhile, Burevestnik, with its intercontinental range and low flight path, would challenge early warning systems optimized for ballistic threats, forcing NATO to fund dual-layer defenses for both ballistic and cruise missile detection. That alone would strain Western defense budgets, particularly in Europe, already burdened by high energy costs and Ukraine-related spending. Still, the lack of independent verification is crucial. The immediate effect is not military imbalance, but economic compulsion. NATO must prepare for the worst-case scenario. This forced reallocation of resources is itself a form of deterrence. In short, by making its opponents believe the capability exists, Russia achieves part of its strategic goal without firing a single shot, which explains why global reactions have been cautious rather than sensational. Putin's announcement quickly rippled through global strategic circles. The United States was the first to respond. President Trump called the test inappropriate, but Washington understood it was a carefully calibrated deterrence move. By unveiling Poseidon and Burevestnik together, Moscow compelled the U.S. to reconsider its defense budget and even resume discussions about nuclear testing, a reaction Russia likely anticipated. Europe was more worried than surprised. NATO capitals viewed the announcement not merely as a technical issue, but as a psychological strike aimed at the credibility of their collective defense. When a state claims to possess an uninterceptable weapon, the entire notion of shared security has to be rewritten. Asia, for its part, stayed silent but not indifferent. China watched closely. Japan warned of potential radiation risks in the Pacific. South Korea called for stronger nuclear assurances from Washington. Beijing's silence spoke volumes, a reminder that Russia remains a technological partner to watch, but also a competitor in the race for compact nuclear power. In sum, the world did not react with noise but with calculation. Every nation understood that such a declaration was more than a weapons test. It was a test of perception, a measure of who still has the clarity to read intent in an age where information itself is a form of ammunition. If Russia has indeed miniaturized a nuclear reactor capable of powering long-endurance unmanned or missile platforms, it represents a remarkable leap with potential civilian spin-offs, from Arctic energy projects to space exploration. Yet even if the technology remains incomplete, the story itself serves a strategic function. It forces competitors to spend, to react, to chase, giving Moscow leverage at minimal cost. This is the essence of strategic belief, power not in possession, but in perception. At the same time, the environmental risks are real. Experts warn that nuclear-powered propulsion in cruise missiles could breach international arms control norms and pose catastrophic hazards in case of accidents. In an already fragile world, another radioactive incident is the last thing humanity needs. Still, beyond the science, what truly matters is the psychological and strategic impact, how this narrative reshapes the global mindset. The most profound impact of these announcements is not in warheads or ranges, but in the uncertainty they inject into the global psyche. In a world already fatigued by pandemics, wars, and energy crises, another source of existential risk deepens the collective anxiety. That anxiety is, in fact, the weapon. When governments and markets must prepare for the worst, even without proof, deterrence has already worked. It revives the logic of a Cold War 2.0, fought not through clashes but through budgets, narratives, and fears. Uncertainty has become a tool of statecraft, and in a world of fragile trust, it is also profitable. Defense contractors, energy investors, and political actors all find opportunity in a more anxious world. Yet, as uncertainty spreads, so does instability. When no one fully trusts deterrence as a stabilizing force, every side begins preparing for contingencies, and speculation in a nuclear context is, historically, the most dangerous variable of all. At first glance, Putin's announcement appears to be a showcase of military technology. But at a deeper level, it is a political message wrapped in technical language, a reminder that Russia still has the power to make the world hold its breath. In an era where information travels faster than bullets, power is no longer measured by range or payload, but by the ability to control the emotions of others. Moscow understands this perfectly. A well-timed statement can make Washington revisit its defense spending, NATO convene emergency meetings, and investors brace for volatility. This is no longer a competition of weapons. It is a contest of belief. Whoever controls global anxiety controls global attention. And at this moment, with only a few sentences, Russia has managed to become the conductor of that anxiety. Yet every form of power built on fear is temporary. When the world runs on suspicion, everyone pays the price, in defense costs, in public trust, and in the ever-present risk of miscalculation. Ultimately, the most dangerous thing may not be Poseidon or Burevestnik themselves, but an era in which unverified declarations can reshape global order. And perhaps, in such a world, truth is no longer the strongest weapon, but the first casualty.